So I tried to seize every opportunity as it came to me because I believed it might stop the sky from falling down one more day. But the older I got, the more I realized that I cannot save the world. I'm not a superhero. I'm not perfect. I'm just me. A human being. So let's take the phone and break the cycle. So why do you believe everyone around me? Every single day we kill our idols. But you won't break me down. Losing your mind again. You're losing your mind again. We're losing our mind.
Hello and welcome, Overwatch fans. We are here, and we are live. Little WSSEA action coming at you. That's the Washington State Scholastic Esports Association. I'm FBI Tugboat here with my man Sohav. Dan up. Sohav, how we doing?
Tugboat, good to be here. Good to catch out these as fresh young talent. Checking out
Oh,
at
yeah.
the start of the season. So this game is going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to it because there's a little bit of a rivalry here. We're going to get a fresh look and maybe something, maybe even a preview of something in the playoffs. So if you're tuning in for week one, this is the best time to do it.
Yes, week numero uno. They tell me it's the loneliest number. Well, you couldn't be able to find that out here on week one of the WSSEA. Big shout out to all the folks behind the scenes making our jobs as casters that much easier. Let's talk a little bit about this matchup right here, because there is, like you said, a little bit of backstory, a little bit of back and forth between these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, let's be real here. Burlington Edison, if you've been following the scene at all, you and I are new, but from the kind of knowledge we've gotten from this, Burlington Edison, did pretty well last year. They placed second in playoffs. They were looking for a pretty good run, so you're feeling pretty good coming into the season. On the other side, though, but Lake Stevens, I mean, they had a really rough season. They're looking to kind of build it. I'm curious to see what they brought in. Some teams have a tough season. They make a couple roster changes, and suddenly, you're shooting to the top of the board. So a lot of question marks around both of these teams. Does Burlington still kind of have it? Are they going to carry this momentum to the next year? Or is Lake Stevens just going to shoot up, find something, and rise like a phoenix?
Absolutely. From the ashes, the Phoenix will arise, or will it? That's literally the big question. That's literally the question that we're posing to each other and to you guys, our dear viewers, because the writing is on the wall a little bit. Burlington Edison, as you mentioned, about as good as it gets, right? Second place within that state competition right there. Whereas this Lake Stevens squad has been a lot back and forth. But as they say, this is Scholastic Esports and high school as well. Collegiate traditional sports, they say any play on the day. That is only more so true here for this high school squads.
Yeah, and opening up here on Lijiang Tower, like you said, this is high school. This is going to be one of those kind of odd moments where you might see just whatever's the most comfortable pick. If you look at the top end, it's a lot of Sigma, it's a lot of Sojourn. There's a lot of, Baptiste and Briggs still kind of running it. But there's kind of no real set meta, depending really on what your team is comfortable with and what you're really feeling. Like, what are your strong points? We might see anything come out of here. I do expect, just given this point, we're probably going to see those Symmetras, at least to start. But, initial looks kind of, look to be about what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the Bastion. I'm seeing the Genji, the Sigma. It's good to kind of emulate those high-end points. So really am looking for both of these teams to try to create these isolations, find those targets to burst down and kind of set themselves up for success and to chain these wins together.
Absolutely. That's what it's about, chaining wins together. This is a best of three, though, so you really only have to chain one win into a second one to take this week number one W across this match. Of course, we'll be looking at the loser picking map, winner picking side, offense, defense. Let's get this one going. Only similarity between these two teams is that Orisa, and that just makes sense. Taken to point, and here goes the Symmetra. Turrets and the car wash is set up already. This is going to be your Lake Stevens squad just trying to find a way in edgewise here and early. Lots of spam right down the middle. They're getting their protein for the day here, so Ev.
Yeah, that's the best way you can do it. I'm very curious for the defense, though. They did get there first, but that may, creates more isolations, but it's a little less damage here. So they're going to have to play a little bit tighter of a squad to make sure they can capitalize. And this Orisa is out of position, looking to get bumped off. So this is the moment here.
Yeah, Crazy, you're getting a lot of support right there, but that is not going to be enough when you're staring down the barrel of 1, 2, 3, 4 different players on the other side. Burlington Edison has purchased this first point. They are ticking up from about 15 now.
Yeah, helps they got there first, right? Like, you got the Symmetra in the window, and that's just going to be the way it is. So, looking ahead, no real ultimates. Lightem does have Sound Barrier up, and the Lucio is to thank for a lot of that. So a defensive coming up for the side of the defense here it means that they're looking pretty good to hold this, especially with that window from Dudarius coming in. They're just going to hit these ultimates a little bit faster, and they should be able to hold off against this onslaught.
Yeah, there you go. Dudarius and Anti, another similarity between these two teams. Nice deflect to start this one off. Genji right here, both the hero's name and the player's name right there. He's deciding to get out of dodge while the getting is good. Picked up a big one, and that's another deflect right here from Wild Viking. My goodness.
Wow.
That's a lot of back and forth right now as this Orisa just getting absolutely beaten down. But now Genji is back, and with a vengeance, got a couple of help from their friends right now, but no dash, no deflect. There's the window that we were talking about, but gotta take down this car wash here and first, and does. Do you believe the Lake Stevens has purchased their way back into this fight?
I didn't quite see when Sound Barrier went out, but it wasn't available for the Blade, and that was where Genji really was able to take that patient play, get that pick on the side, and just waited for the Immortality Field and that Sound Barrier to come through. So really good play. There is a nano up. There is some artillery though. So getting past this wall from Cyber is going to be the most difficult thing. You should just be able to launch it onto the Orisa and hopefully just push your way through. But I'm watching Wild Knight. He doesn't, he can get a lot of damage in, but Wheels mode is going to be difficult to get value.
And here comes the Bastion ultimate here and early, sectioned off at least a little bit, putting it all across this point. Nothing really landing there, partially the help of that Symmetra wall across the middle. Lake Stevens has lost their main tank. I do believe this is their fight to lose as of this point, and it is. Symmetra both falling right here, taking ticks from 40% will be Lake Stevens.
Yeah, they're catch up to that 64% quick. It did cost them pretty much everything. So, hey, you're back to the neutral. You'll take that. Yeah, you're still okay with that, though. It kept you alive, and you'll slowly get the lead here. I mean, it's back to the neutral. We have seen our red team just kind of, lead the way for the most part for the side of Berlin. So, they won the first fight clean. Maybe they can do it again here.
Nice save right here. This Lucio getting incredibly aggressive. Lightem's going to have to play a little bit farther back, even though, trust me, Lucio main myself, it is fun to aggravate. Taking this one on the outside and just making better use of this natural cover on this corner. Dudarius doing exactly what they need to. Here's the Immortality Field perfectly placed right across the other side. It's going to be really hard to get this, but now the Genji pushing this player out. That is a feels bad man. Huge purple across the bottom as Lake Stevens does lose their Genji, but a worthwhile sacrifice. You ask me, 88-89% as of right now as Lake Stevens is looking ever so closer. That's a huge headshot and even bigger kill onto Wild Viking, the Bastion here, Soav.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully Lightem did hold on to that sound barrier like you called out there, because that was the saving grace to prevent Genji from getting real value. They'll get the tick back here right in the 11th hour, but there's not a lot to hold it up. They're coming into the rest of their ults. But I mean, there's nano, there's a window, we're getting artillery. This is going to be a little bit of a toss-up. There's no real defensive for either side here. I gotta watch this nano, because whoever it goes on to really needs to be the playmaker for the side of Lake Stevens.
100% agreed. Cyber spitting distance away from their Symmetra ultimate again. And as they are set up, here's the car wash. There's the pull in. That's a lot of damage, but not gonna be enough. Immortality Field out. Dudarius falls shortly thereafter, and back and forth we go. A pinstripe kill feed up top, Soav. Brazier drops right here. Is this Symmetra still looking to get it going, but Genji gets aggressive and early. That nano boost absolutely paying off. Nasty purple across the middle for this tank, in a 99-99 is where this one's going to go.
Ooh.
One of these teams will get 100. Who will it be? Do not know.
It's looking like it's going to be our side on Lake Stevens here. I say that, but the Genji just faded. I mean, if he had held on, he was so close to Blade there, actually. If he had held on a little bit longer, probably would have gone his way, but it will go to the side of Burlington Edison here. It's just going to be the last Orisa to bully, and it'll burn down. So.
Now the Tracer.
Nah, we're just stalling time. We're just stalling time here. There ain't nothing to see here. Yeah, but it was a good read. It was a great read from both teams. I wish, again, the nano had come a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more proactively, and maybe given yourself an advantage. You got the opening pick, but realistically, you needed to strike while the iron was hot. You got Immortality Field first, and that was a great comeuppance, but fortunately, it didn't quite pan out like you wanted.
100%. I like the versatility as well. Wild Viking here specifically being willing to go on over to that Tracer, get up close, personal. Now this is going to be nice and confusing. Genji, the player, playing onto Reaper, the hero.
I mean, it makes sense. He saw a lot of beef. He saw a lot of big tanky characters. Honor going to pick up the Junkrat also. So yeah, this is the. All right, there. The Junkrat made sense here. Cyber is going to pick up the Junkrat. There we go. Yeah, this is the map where you bring in the Junkrat. This is the map where you bring in, and that's a lot of high damage. So really the burst potential for the side of Burlington just is going to be a lot higher. I'm really watching this double flex support here. Baptiste and Ana have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. But a whole lot of movement abilities outside of that Baptiste jump. Those boots right there. They might find out the hard way here soon. Doing a great job. Lake Stevens is sectioning off out the Orisa right here. They're gonna have to. They should pounce on this like right now. This Orisa is pretty much by themselves. That's half damage right here, and this point isn't even opened up yet. So there you go. Okay, so a squandered opportunity. I gotta call it.
And no, that was the moment to go. But that's the problem of not having a Lucio, right? Lucio would have been able, and your team would have been able to dive on it, and that's the bonus that Light Up brings them. Unfortunately, Genji is just going to be the equalizer there by just catching out, and that's what Reaper does. He catches those punishes. We want to see those punishes from the side of Lake Stevens.
You know, Genji, the Reaper.
Yeah,
Genji the Reaper.
Genji the Reaper. Yeah, of course.
Looking to find a way in edgewise. An ignored Reaper is frequently going to be the stuff that nightmares are made out of. We're looking at 83 right now and complete heals from their Ana right now. This Reaper is just left to absolutely feed. Yeah, that's a headshot as well, and this is going to be basically like what a solo point take with a Death Blossom on top, like a cherry on a sundae here. So
I mean, you have Beyblade, you have Nano as well. Like there are so many threats there from the side of Lake Stevens here. You have so much, you gain so much from that fight. Cyber is going to try and sneak and find something with his tire though, and I think he'll realize that Bastion's right there. That's a great opening pick, even though it does deny them. You know, it's a lot of damage off the board immediately, but yeah, they see it. They're going to try to play for as many as they can. They have to get sound barrier out first though. There's too many things in the way of this tire.
Well, Tire does have that 10 seconds right here. Has it out early. Lightem does not bite on that one. A fantastic Lucio and the awareness right here. There's the Immortality Field. That's going to be enough for Genji the Reaper. And, of course, for that Immortality Field, here's the Orisa ult as well. You're out from the other side. A nasty purple ends Cage the King. Crazy or Real in their counterpart. That Ana right there combining for all the damage in the world. 47-48% right now as Burlington still fighting this one down, finds a main support on the other side, and this should go the way of Burlington Edison.
And the bonus to them is that they've been ticking up this whole time, so they're already at 56. A late Death Blossom, though, paired with the Bastion means that this is salvageable. They're going to flip it back.
100% salvageable. This is Cage the King actually giving up a lot of ultimate charge as well. 13% for Genji here. They finish their Death Blossom. They get nothing for it, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's
like they get no further ultimate charge.
Yeah, there's no ultimate charge they can get out of it. But I mean, if that's fine though, you saved it long enough that you got the value and you got what you wanted. There's 4 ults coming in from the side of Burlington, so they should be able just to overwhelm them here with their toolbox.
There's a lot of damage right here, but no payload found. Genji, the Reaper, giving the business to Bastion for just a second. Here's the counter. That's going to be a perfectly timed. Oh, no, it's not. Excuse me. I thought that was the Immortality Field taken out beforehand, but Lightem getting the sound barrier down. Onra does not like the look of this. Still tries to get involved and pays the price for it here, so
yeah, I will say Lake Stevens, I like their attempt to try to take this high inside corner here. They keep trying to maintain the high ground, and that is the right idea, but the problem is they're playing so split. You can see the Bastion's constantly trying to use the wheel mode and catch a cheeky flank, but there's no support for him. He ends up getting burned down. A couple ultimates still up for the side of Burlington Edison, so I mean, if they can pull into Tire, that is a huge combo that can just shut this out and win the game. They just need to get one pick with those 2 ults.
I'm looking at 2 very immobile healers on the side of Lake Stevens as well, whereas we have the most mobile heroes support-wise for the side of BE, and I think this might come out. That's a lot right there, but that is a nano-boosted Orisa, and that is the stuff that attack heroes' nightmares are made out of. Taking off a point right here, that's going to be enough for Burlington Edison right here after a close game 1 and a decently close game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, that was, again, the swap's kind of coming in a little bit late. The ideas were good there, and you can see it. Genji is going to be on that Reaper. It's probably going to be the Death Blossom if I had to guess. Yeah,
100%.
It was the right idea. These swaps are the good ideas. You know, I'm not sold on the lack of Lucio though, right? Like this comp really does need the Lucio in a lot of ways to be able to kind of swarm in and make sure you get as many members taking out whoever you're shot calling on is so crucial. So we'll see if they stick with this. Like the Baptiste Ana was an interesting look. It does give you the defensive because you need something defensive here against these kinds of teams. There's so much burst damage. There has to be something between you and the spawn room.
Yeah. I mean, especially given just how long a Zen that is not consistently dinking heads takes to get that transcendence, to get that immortality for themselves, and outside of burst damage, immortality basically for everybody on their team for the duration of that transcendence. You pair that with another support that just has no movement abilities whatsoever, and I think this is just Burlington Edison that was far more mobile. Like, I would have gone Lucio instead of the Zen, partially for the group healing, but mostly, as you mentioned, for the increase in speed movement. Just I really do think that speed equaled out a narrow victory here for Burlington Edison in game number 2.
Yeah, and I think that if you're early on, this is the time to make those mistakes, right? Like, this is week 1, like you said. This is the time to stop and say, oh, we need a Lucio player. Someone's going to have to grind this. It seems like we're losing because we don't have that speed. Let's look to the future. Who do we have on our support roster? Who do we have that can come in? Who can we find that already plays maybe that we can swap in for that? Because this comp is still very strong, even with the changes that have just kind of started to come in through the recent season. You know, Lucio didn't really get affected, so speed will always be a good thing. But, you know, map 1's gone. We're on to map 2. We are waiting on loser's pick. So, you know, there's still plenty of things that can work in your favor.
Scribms Row is the pick right here for our hybrid. We'd have it no other way, so I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Obviously, especially when you consider some of the newer Overwatch maps, I think that King's Row is really also at least point number 1, where Reinhardt can shine as well. Thoughts, Sohav?
Oh, totally. You know, this was the home of Brawl, right? This used to be where you always saw, you know, 3-4 tanks. This is where Goats was at its peak. Recently, though, Tugboat, I don't know. There's still a lot of dive. There's still a lot of things. And right now, the initial struggles just are getting past this initial choke point, getting through Hotel. So, you know, recently we've seen Ashes, we've seen Sojourn. So if there is someone, maybe we're going to see the Genji Widowmaker, you know, next. So there's a chance that if you have a deeper hero pool, this is a good place to read into it.
Yeah, and especially all of these points change, like, categorically. Once you open up first point in this hybrid map set, moving on from there, it will definitely benefit you, especially if you're on offense, really either side, actually, to have the speed boost, to have the aforementioned Lucio. Now, once you get on the inside and everything closes up, now you're talking about taking any sort of aerial advantage away. You're not talking about any echoes. You're not talking about any Pharos up top. Point 1, and up until you get to that next checkpoint, the air is completely open, and anything you want to do up there, you either can, or you're going to have a counter on the other side for when attacking heroes do so.
This is a very aggressive backline. Kiriko Ilari is a lot of healing, but it's also a very aggressive team. You know, that is a team, we were wondering, you know, we're talking about leaving the backline vulnerable. This is not a vulnerable backline. This is a team that should be able to play for themselves, but it is going to require making sure you hit those shots. So once they get in there, we'll see what the attacking side changes, because I don't know that I'm sold on this D.Va immediately. I do like the dive concept, though. This is a very good dive setup.
Yeah, Sombra's seen a little bit of changes recently as well. People have different opinions on that one, we'll say. Tracer on the flank as of right now. Cypher right here, just waiting for their time to strike. All 3 burst and ready for it. And this is Genji, the Reaper, just looking to try and find a way in edgewise. Now it's full retreat back onto point. This Tracer getting called out right here, and Cyber immediately following the first loss. And this is Dudarius also getting a little bit too aggressive.
It's unfortunate for Burlington here. This is, you know, like we said, this is a very tough backline. This backline can sustain itself, so the dive characters, the Tracer, the Sombra, won't get as much value because you now have to win those duels. And supports are so strong. They're going to make just wholesale changes. They're going to bring in a Cassidy. Junkrat, we're going to match the Brawl now. This is a comp I like. I like this a little better. I'm not sold on the Cassidy, but I do like the concept behind it. I wish we would see an Ashe or something a little bit longer range. But I want to see Anra go off on this. I think you can make it work. Great headshots to kick it there.
Close, yeah. This Reaper almost tastes their final defeat. That's a lot of damage here onto the Ana on the other side, but Cage the King taken out. I'm going to say this Burlington Edison push is over.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere without that Orisa, no matter how much you spam at it. I mean, all the ults coming online now for Lake Stevens. You've got, you've got Sunburst, you've got Kitsune Rush, you'll have a Tire. You know, Sound Barrier is almost there from Light Up, so there's a couple of ways you can kind of wear through this, but it's, you know, you're going to have to commit them all to get past the onslaught. So it looks like just from the ultimates on board, like they should be able to win this. They should just be able to last out the sustain.
Cyber takes a little while to get this one. Cyber literally had that Tire as well. I think I probably personally would have called Tire and then made the switch. They do have 2 minutes plus. Here comes the high noon. Nasty stun Nasty stun, absolutely disgusting. Perfect time, and the interrupt coming in. Harvesting the power of the sun, but can't get out. Anra is picking you out of the sky.
Okay, you know, I asked him to show up, and Anra, absolutely. Thank you. You proved you proved me wrong, and I will love to see it. I agree. I was, you know, Cyber. Like, I get the idea. I agree with you. I would have rather have thrown the tire from spawn and tried to get value before that swap, but it doesn't matter. They got it there, and they saved too. So, you know, they're a little behind now in that ult bank, but they have the cart rolling. It did get both of the. Oh gosh, look at this. From the axe side. Yeah, you'll catch Cyber trying to punish, and that's a great punish. That'll slow up this a lot.
Yeah, this really, really will. They have opened it up, and that's the name of the game, but it is so much harder to get through this choke point. A little bit of damage up top, a little bit of damage down bottom. Dude, Arius is going to know it and consistently utilize those gravity boots. Javelin out. This is so much spam down the side, but Crazy Real actually pushed back just a little bit. Here comes the Javelin spin, and this boot from Cyber gets absolutely no effect, still just shooting over the top of the head. That's just smart to not even try and involve Crazy Real into those Ferris shots. I'm going to try and get into that backline, that ever so tough backline, as you mentioned, so hard to fourth and crack. That is nothing. Yeah, actually, they took it out right there. It was Crazy Real that took out that Immortality field, and now Dudarius coming in with that primo support.
Yeah,
There's no ultimates right here. Burlington did in this push as well.
Yeah, I say they actually net gained. They took the ultimate away from the other team, and they're coming out on top here. So great patient play. I was expecting Cyber to be doing a little bit more work from a flank angle, but I mean, you'll take that. You now have 5 ults up. If you can win fights like that in a neutral without committing anything, you're happy with that. Again, you have the only defensive on board. You have a sound barrier. It's just going to become making sure you time it for this upcoming Death Blossom or the window, whatever you get value for. And Genji will get out in time, but you know, this is quite a treasure trove of ultimates on the side of Burlington. Oh, found out. No, he's found out.
Yeah. He was trying to be sneaky right there. This is still a fantastic spot for a fair barrage. Here comes the window. That's the attempted grenade out first for Anra. Anra player has been really playing to the 9 so far. After point 1 has been open. Genji the Reaper now taken out. This is gonna be everything, and then Burlington Edison purchases yet again without a single kill coming from the amplification matrix. So
and again, yeah, like you only committed amp matrix. You're very happy with that. I gotta say, I'm impressed by Anra here, who has been just aces on this Cassidy. Absolutely just doing real work for a hero that is considered really kind of struggling in this current meta. Yeah. You love to see it. I mean, again, you still kept your sound barrier. You're in a great spot. I'm looking for Cyber here. Cyber has a barrage up. They just need to maintain him and get value, and you know, this opens it right up because there's nothing to stop Cyber. They finally bring in a soldier, but I think it's far too late.
Trying to get something going in Immortality field to pair with this Bara barrage. Here's the Kitsune rush. There's the Death Blossom in the back. Everybody fallen. Now Cage the King taking out their counterpart as well. Lake Stevens on the back side right now and slowly slipping away. That is one left right here. They should be able to get on a little bit. That's a bad window in a place that no other else can get to. And that's Anra finishing with a 15-player kill streak. So 15, 1-5. Crazy stuff.
That's insane. I mean, come on, talk about. You gonna tell me you ain't made a desperation window in your life before? Come on, man. I'll admit I'm guilty. Look, you do what you need to try to survive. It's just a shame you already spent. The real shame is just that you'd already spent Immortality Field and to have it for yourself there. But I mean, that's the way it is. Once you made those initial swaps, just beautiful comp change. It was very difficult for Cyber to really find that value without the Mercy pocket. But realistically, just the threat alone and those rockets, you know, he never really played out of range. So just the threat of that far alone did so much work. And unfortunately, the changes just never really came. So the far just kind of got free fear value realistically. But we'll see when the changes come out, because there's a lot on the other side. Stevens, interesting. I'm looking at that. I don't think we're going to see too much on that. But I like the Sigma pick here instead. It's a lot more sturdy. Cyber going over to the Sojourn. This is kind of, I would just say, if you could lock this comp in the future, just lock this. This is a great comp. This is ideally what you want to be playing anyways, in like the top end. And if you can hit your shots, this is a great place to be. You have so much damage. You have so much space control. So I'm really, now it just comes to their positioning here. Ramatra's in an interesting spot. I'm curious to see if Anti stays in the Zenyatta. This is kind of a lower healing comp. So it's really going to come down to Crazy Real to like self-sustain a lot if this stays.
That is entirely fair. I'm going to say Genji now playing the the Widowmaker, excuse me, yeah, is mostly just looking for initial pick. Probably not going to stay on this for super long, but yeah, I have to admit, and also this defense is like this is 100% middle range comp, right? There's nobody on this entire squad right here that really benefits from like a close and brawly comp, except for of course the Sigma right here, but they don't want to give up that space. Kind of surprised on offenses and defenses composition thus far. Taking a look, the inside, Crazy or Real blocking everything in a bag of chips, and that's still not going to be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4 members of the side of Burlington Edison just absolutely melts them down, and the offense wisely decides to turn tail.
I mean, no, the comp makes total sense to me, Tugboat. I mean, you look at the Bastion, he's there to make sure the Sigma doesn't get bullied. Sigma can rotate that. Cyber going down is a huge problem because that's your biggest problem is that if Genji continue to hit shots, Genji doesn't need to interact with this team. If he can get an angle and just get a head click, the rest of the team can just clean it up.
That's a very good point. More of a picky comp in the Bastion playing Protect the President. I like it. I like it. Dudarius in the back right here. That's going to be an attempt from this Ramatra on the other side. Dudarius really having their work cut out for him as of right now, as this is a very dangerous corner for the side. The defense here now just continuously pouring in damage. There's a nice res across the middle. There's the window as well. One single shot. That's going to be enough for Dudarius. A well-timed ultimate and plenty more to come. Light him up 5% away. Cyber and Cage the King just a spitting distance away from their ultimates as well. So
yeah, I mean, Panda's holding on to that. The changes will come through. Genji going to go back over the namesake there. I actually wish they had kind of stayed in the Widow. I think it was worth. I think we just need to go something tankier. I think we just need like a Roadhog. Give me a Roadhog. Give me a Sigma. Something that can sustain a little bit more on their own versus this Ramatra. You're playing for Annihilation, but when Viking goes down, your win condition doesn't matter.
Yeah, very good point. This is kind of a picky comp. Not 100% either way here for the side of Lake Stevens, but you got to make sure that something works right here. But hey, this looks pretty good as Wild Viking now pulling this one out. Super low, doesn't matter. Takes out Cage the King as well, but this is still a lot of time burned off for the side of the offense. Burlington Edison's going to be giving up at least another tick of progress. They might be able to get back on this.
Nah, they're going to give it up here. I think it was that's the right decision. And this comp change, I think, was the right call. They're still playing very pokey and picky, but they're really forcing the backline to pay attention. Now Dudarius really can't just sit there and free heal. Light him up really has to make sure he's protecting his co-support, and that's what that Genji's good at. Blade is here, but there's two answers in the way, so I'm looking at Annihilation after that because there's some big ultimates on board, but there's two defensives up.
Huge stun right there. Genji almost bit the bullet. This is really the first main objective, offensively objective test right here. Hitting Sears back at them, not going to be ideal, but that is our mantra. Take, and now, writing is on the wall. Go, go, go. They're all gas, no brakes, but that's a huge freaking res.
That's huge.
Panda actually doing a fantastic job keeping this Lake Stevens squad in this fight in every way, shape, and form here, Sohav.
Yeah, it's just a shame that you really couldn't get a total value of the Annihilation, but you will get it from this Blade. The Soundbreaker is committed too, though. Only able to get one, but I think that's enough damage done, Tugboat.
Yeah, so Cage the King, Dudarius, Cyber, all with ultimate as well. Here comes our Gravitic Flux. 10 damage! Not gonna be enough to finish that one, and Lake Stevens is gonna be the winner of this team fight.
I mean, yeah, they got value on what they needed, and that's all you could ask for. They'll make the swap over. They'll give up the Zen to go to the Ana. I agree. I like that a lot better here. It's just going to be a little bit of a question mark on this last touch. You're probably going to look for a Nano Visor, and that's a great win condition here. There's no defensive on the other side, so you just got to clear out that Immortality field, and you can cap point. Oh, that's not a good opener, though.
Going Mercy headhunting right here is Anra, facing a lot of flak after that and can't quite keep it up. Nice purple. Wild Viking absolutely feasting right now. This is going to be outside of Dudarius. Now, that would have been our first team kill bell of the series so far. There's plenty of time.
It's a shame, but Wild Viking will have to take the point as a consolation there. And again, good use of those. You've stalled enough time. You're rotating, and Annihilation's coming on board. But I mean, there's 3 up for the other side. These are some high skill ones, so you're really gonna have to keep an eye for Cyber and On. Oh man, and Anra already just finding one is huge. You know, these are some skill shots here. So watch for these two shooters to really just find an angle to find some value. Oh,
Good
huge.
God, this is Onra's world. We're just momentarily renting space in it. That was almost bad here for Genji. Not going to be enough. Kind of held on for a second, but actually getting it done with only one ultimate as well. This is Lake Stevens with only one ultimate on the line right now. They'll have the Mercy ult soon. They'll have the Blade soon after that, and hopefully a nano minute or so.
I mean, that's the hope, right? If you can get the Nano Annihilation, you have at 240 on the clock. If you can just Play-Doh around it, you should be okay. Maybe take a couple dry fights, get the resources out you can. Genji's just going to get a deflect, though, so it'll be back to the spawn room for Cyber, and they're going to commit further. Okay.
Here it goes. Mortality Field taken out, but that's a nasty stun, and Crazy going to be the one to take a first kill. No benefit on the Genji Blade, at least not in the kill feed right here. Onra absolutely doing work as Cage the King takes a long walk off a short pier right here. Onra given a lot of cover as well to switch to operate once they get back to these pillars, but this is not going to be Lake Stevens taking it with more time, but it is going to be a lot of pressure as of right now. 2 minutes to go here, and this Sigma's taking all the damage in the world right now. The Mantra, excuse me, taking all the damage in the world right now. Cage the King and a trio of members combining on that one. Nasty purple, but that's not going to be enough to take out this player.
They're going to get out of it okay. I'm not sold on this Mercy right now. I kind of think we're past the point of it finding real value. Like, you'll have Valkyrie, but I'm not sure I'm sold on it unless we're really just stable to Wild Knight. So, and Genji going to pick up the Reaper now, so we're just going to try to, I guess, brute force our way past the Sigma. You have a sound barrier though against you, so I mean the defensives just favor Burlington here.
Nicely done. A lot of pressure here in early. The Ana immediately answers it, and Cyber's forced to get out of dodge. Has some nasty shots. Here's the hack onto the big health pack. Is Genji going to be the first to fall? The Reaper here on the side of Lake Stevens, trying to play corner right here and get some damage in edgewise. That's a nice hit that's going to slow down these players, and Cage the King almost just took another walk off of that corner right there, just trying to play this and get as much damage on the angle that they can here, Stoav.
Yeah, I mean, I got to credit Cypher, though, for a lot of this, right? Cypher is just in the back, just making them constantly. You can see it. Ramatra turning around, just feeling like they can't go forward. And they'll get punished, again, try to walk forward into the Cassidy and can't quite do it. So another hold with, 30 seconds on the clock. They're going to have to regroup quick, and I don't think they have many things that they don't really have anything they can throw at this here. This is a tough fight.
It is. It is. The res comes in yet again. Panda continuously keeping this team in the fight right here. But at a certain point, you have to wonder, when do we just fully regroup and push this at a full 5 with whatever we have at our disposal right now, and wasting a potential attack ultimate here as Genji. There's a Widowmaker that's going to have to come back here soon. That's a nasty EMP, but Genji going to be able to find 2. That's 2 picks there for Lightem and more. Onra falling as well, the main heavy hitter for the side of Burlington Edison. That's a last little bit. No Moth meta for you, my friends. Genji taken out as well. And this is going to be Burlington Edison taking this series in 2.
It was a good setup, a good showing from both teams realistically. But I mean, Burlington showed why they were number 2, right? Like, that's a team that shows they've played together. They've put in the work. You don't get to second and state without that kind of a work, and Genji will have to take the consolation prize. I mean, he looked good. Let's be real. Yeah. His blades looked good. He was doing the right work, but unfortunately just kind of couldn't really ever get the job done. And it's, Overwatch isn't a carry as much as a carry game as you might think. So, Burlington just kind of had it a little bit more together. I think the looks from the side of Lake Stevens weren't bad. The ideas were great, but they just never quite came together. There was a couple pieces you'd rather have seen differently. But I think that given it's week 1, like, that's fine. You try some things out. You can afford a loss here, especially against a strong opponent like this. Yeah. You might assume you're going to lose this, so why not try a couple things, get your footing, and see what works? And I think you found a couple pieces. That's your consolation from.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the side of Lake Stevens, there were no massive mistakes.
No.
That either of us could point to and be like, this is a problem, just fix it, right? Some of the more the smaller stuff, just kind of the work around the edges, and just kind of really make this game plan a little bit more crisp right here. We talked about a little bit some of the minor mistakes, like the movement abilities that Lucio could have granted in map 2 there on Lijiang Tower, but there's no glaring things like, oh, this is wrong and you're never going to win with that one right there.
Yeah.
Lake Stevens, this is just another chapter in the constant ongoing rivalry between these two teams, and we cannot forget that first map on Lijiang Tower was 99 to 100, back and forth the entire time. So.
Yeah, there were moments of brilliance from both of these teams, and realistically, Lake Stevens, you have a lot to be proud of for that. But for the side of Burlington Edison, that's a great showing. You pretty much feel pretty good about that all. You got a map stop. You kind of maybe stole the 99 in some ways. You kind of managed to weather some of the changes you weren't expecting to see. So of all the things that you've really been able to kind of put together and take away from this game, you're a little bit better prepared for down the road when, maybe you'll get the odd hero. We're not seeing Maga yet, but maybe Maga and Reaper will end up being pieces that you see down the line.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with that. Where Maga specifically will shake out is going to be very, very interesting here, but that's going to be it here for our Overwatch. Now, folks, two things. First, you're in the 206 in the Seattle area. Seattle built PCs, fantastic gaming hardware right there. These folks can get you completely figured out, especially if you're like me. I'm comfortable working on cars and stuff like that, but when it comes to those super expensive electronic pieces, maybe a little bit of a different story. The folks over there at Seattle built PCs can help you out. Second, right here, we're going to be looking at Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 right after this. We saw Rocket League right before this. This has been your Overwatch 2-0 victory for the side of Burlington Edison, and big congratulations to them. Street Fighter 6 starting in just a little bit. So, do you have anything for the good people before we do go to a short break and then get Street Fighter 6 started in just a little bit?
Nah, just that it's been a pleasure, and I'm excited to see the season ahead, Tugboat.
Absolutely. Guys, don't tune away. We'll be back with Street Fighter 6 in just a little bit. Tomorrow, excuse me. It's tomorrow. Sorry about that. I completely misread that. That's Street Fighter 6 tomorrow. The stream is over. Now you can tune away. You've been given permission. Guys, appreciate you watching. Go. Yeah, there you go. With the WSSEA. It'll be Sohav and myself, FBI Tugboat, coming to you guys next week as well for some more Overwatch. Street Fighter 6 tomorrow. 4 p.m. Pacific.